Previously on the GAA2 Resolve. The person who colluded with Mr. Drebber in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Courtney Sithe. You point. You shriek. You shriek. The body double inside the second birdcage was that thing there. What? That was just sitting there the whole time? Good in this game. A waxwork of the despicable professor. Used as a body double for the victim in this quite extraordinary case. Then the prosecution calls for the owner of the model to be summoned as a witness. Alright, I believe this is where we left off. Timothy Bishop here, and we're at the end of case 3, I think. This is a trial, we're smack dab in the middle of it, and shit's going down. We just established a connection between two weirdos, and we're just gonna move on here. The Knight Errant himself. Oh, wow. That's like a Dragon Quest term right there. Well, I'm sure they didn't make that word up or anything, but... Oh, you've been watching from the gallery, Mr. Holmes? You've actually been in there? I've been on the edge of my seat the entire time, I'll have you know. My butt is aching, like when I watch NASCAR racing. Courtroom trials are fascinating affairs, as a spectator at least. Yeah, I always wanted to watch a court trial. I've probably said that before, I never go do it though. Glad you've been enjoying yourself. Oh, that's just so Mr. Holmes, I tell you. Oh, sorry about that nose clear just now. The future self, maybe edit that out. I have to ask... What on earth is going on? It makes no sense. What's his professor business all about? He doesn't look like any professor I've ever met before. Who even is he? He looks like one of those headless knights in Dragon Quest XI. Oh, of course. You were in Germany already 10 years ago. Yes, the professor. When I discovered he was the one who had been adopted, a sense of foreboding stirred within me. But who knew the monster would come knocking at your door? My heartfelt sympathies. Not funny, dude. Well, maybe a little bit. As it turns out, Lord Van Zeeks is even more intimately tied to this case than any of us realized, isn't he? Yes, how true. His great friend from university in the dock. And now a waxwork of the killer who took his esteemed brother's life makes an appearance too. I imagine even the shrewd Mr. Reaper failed to foresee that kick in the teeth. Well, you usually don't foresee that happening. Unless you have dentures. Well, then you kind of hope you do. An extraordinary move on your part, my dear fellow, to throw that in front of the man. You make it sound deliberate. Jeez. I can't help feeling that this professor case is really very puzzling. Like maybe it's going to be a whole nother case on its own at some point in the future. Oh yes, in what particular manner? What I just said. Well, there's Mr. Drebber, Dr. Sithe, and Lord Van Zeeks. It seems that everybody in the trial has a link to the case somehow. Yeah. Like, we're not even talking about the whole balloon burst thing or the experiment anymore. This is all gone way... It's like we're just starting to dig down the rabbit hole now, and who knows how deep this shit's gonna go. Yes, in fact, I alone am not a member of the set. Well, that leaves me as an empty set, all alone with no intersection to any other. Excuse me. Whoa. That sound. That's the assistant, right? No, that's you. Well, you're kind of an assistant. Or maybe just an ass. Dr. Sithe! Please, no. Dr. Courtney Sithe. Nay, Stevens. Good day to you. Hello, Holmes. That was very shrewd of you. What in particular, pray? You requested that 10-year-old autopsy report from Gregson, didn't you? Why would you assume such a thing? Well, who else would be that nosy, I tell you? Because Gregson told me. Oh, that bastard. Can't keep his mouth shut for nothing in this world. Which you would think with his full of fish and chips all the time, he wouldn't be able to say anything besides it's coming out. Word. To think it's been 10 years. 10 years in the laboratory wielding my scalpel. I smell of nothing but corpses and disinfectant. Policeman on the jury had a lot to say about you as it happens, Dr. Sithe. Yeah, I think she was there to hear it. And I've accused you of being complicit in what happened. I'm hoping you'll take the stand and tell the truth about what really happened. Oh, screw that. That certainly won't be possible. Why? Lord Van Zeeks won't be summoning me as a witness. I got plot armor. Old Strongheart has forbidden it. Oh. Man, she is pretty close with him, so... Yeah. The Pandora's box you were warned about is the Professor case. But please don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information about it out of me. I had no delusions here, let me tell you. But attempting to hide from the truth, that's cowardice! Yeah, it is, actually. But it depends on what the truth is, though, you know. I've always fought crime in the way that I see fit. I have no regrets. None at all. And that's all I came here to say. So, good day to you. I said good day! Don't you hate that awkward silence? She mentioned it too, this Pandora's box. And I don't think she's talking about the boss of World 3 of Kid Icarus. Whatever does it all mean? Do you have any ideas? There's really no cause for concern, I assure you. When the trial resumes, the meaning will become all too apparent, whether you like it to or not. Huh? Now then, I believe it's almost time for me to take my leave and leave you with those questions. Oh boy, because that's what I always do. I must make my way back to the public gallery. The edge of my seat awaits. The edge of your seat. You just imagine the edge of a chair sitting there with a face on it like, oh, I'm so excited for Sherlock Holmes to put his butt on me again. I think maybe you're enjoying yourself a little too much. Maybe he's anxious for something to come out and it not being him that brought it out, you know? Oh yes, one word of warning before I go. If, in the course of the trial this afternoon, you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone. Huh. To the bitter end, you understand. Do not falter, whatever may come to pass. You talking about Asogi here? You know, that truth? If indeed it's him, which at this point it's all but confirmed, I think. Good. I shall make myself scarce then. I purchased a bar of caramel earlier, so I shall be gnawing on that as you gnaw away at the truth. Huh. They took the time to make a whole picture for that candy bar. Makes you wonder. What did that warning for Mr. Sholmes really mean, I wonder? Especially the bit about whatever may come to pass. Ulysses Gore playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Thanks for coming to my stream last night. It's time for the final chapter, then. I'm determined to find the truth. Well, when I say last night, that's probably like 3 weeks ago now. No matter what. No matter what you are, I will always be with you. 'Cause there's nothing else to do while these words type out. Man, I love the professor statues right there reaching out to the camera like, hey, I'm here too. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. That's the fastest 45 minutes ever. Counsel for the defense and prosecution, are you ready and able to continue? Unless, sir, you think you are able to proceed. Prosecution is ready, my lord. Yep, my lord. I'm ready too, my lord. The defense is also lordly ready to take on the lord. As the court is aware, this case under our scrutiny began with a damaging incident at the Great Exhibition. Yet we now find ourselves embroiled in the details of a convicted felon who was sent to the gallows a decade ago. And is probably still alive, if I had to guess. This trial has certainly defied all expectation. As seems to be the fate of all trials in which this Nipponese is involved, my lord. Breaking the fourth wall a bit there. Well, let us begin our exploration of the defense's assertion that the waxwork was cardinally involved in this matter. Lord Van Zeeks. My lord. Are we still awaiting the arrival of Madame Tusspells? Nope, she's here. She is in the antecedent as we speak, and ready to be summoned. Good. Very well, bring in the witness. What is going to happen here, Joyce? I feel like she's only tangentially related to the case itself. Like, she owns the Waxwork Museum, but, like, how much could she really... have they ever shown this angle on me before? Holy crap. Like, look at my face here, man. This is the kind of face you see in a movie of a guy who's about to just say, is about to destroy some shit. I don't know. If Drebber is responsible, as I'm sure he is, it means he must have had an accomplice in Dr. Sithe. And what connects the pair of them is the waxwork. Right, okay. Yes, the model of the professor, because it had the glass in it, so we know it was there. That's the key to the link between these otherwise unrelated individuals. It's a tenuous link, admittedly, but at present, it's all we have to go on. Because, like, she might not have even known about the glass when they returned it, you know, it's like... Oh god. Oh, she's making... Oh my god. She was making a waxwork of Holmes. That's hilarious. State your name and occupation for the court, please. Do I really need to state my occupation? Look at this! What do you think I do for a living? Holy crap! My name is Madam Esmeralda Tusspells. I'm a waxwork artisan. And you probably have a different voice than before, too. And the proprietress of the Madam Tusspells Museum of Waxwork. You will have to pardon me for working as I testify. My new exhibit must open very soon. Well, as soon as she's done with that, he's gonna get fired. Oh, so he finally gets a statue, does he? Now there are two of them! Oh, man. Oh my, what expression is she carving onto that face? I don't know, it looks kind of ambivalent to me. This horse shit ambivalence. A number of days ago, a particular waxwork model was stolen from your museum. Can you confirm this? Oui, that is true. Oh, right, she's French. I don't do French very well. At first we believed it had been kidnapped. A waxwork model? Kidnapped? How does that work? They just take it. Yes, my lord, there was a demand for ransom money left behind by the culprit. However, according to what I had just been told outside the courtroom, that was not the true reason. I understand it was utilized as a substitute for the body of a murder victim. There you go. At present, that is no more than conjecture proposed by the defense. I still think that this is the victim of the case in question, Mr. Odie Asman. Almost forgot about him. Oh, but of course I know him well. He is a part of my odious personages exhibit. I detest to say what is evident, but Mr. Asman does not resemble the professor at all. Yeah, but the frickin' mask, though, man. Ugh. We got two people with masks in here that we need to unmask. Perhaps their faces are very similar. Yeah, I know. Are you suggesting that we should see now the demasked visage of the professor? Yes! Oh, I have here the key, but it is strictly forbidden to open the lock. All these girls in this game with keys around their necks and shit, man. These pictures of me holding plants up to my face. This is absurd. What the hell does that even mean? Pardon? I don't know what face you've carved onto your fancy figure beneath that mask. But clearly, it won't be that of the actual killer. Yeah, he's understandably pissed here, even talking about this guy. Let's bring out some really bad memories. Indeed, that man's identity was never made public after all, or pubic. What do you... that trial took place in a closed court. What do you know about pubic? The proceedings were strictly confidential. The condemned man was summarily executed. His identity remains a closely guarded national secret. He's just standing there, man. Like, what the hell? This whole time. There is no possible way that a repository of tawdry exhibits could get its hands on that information. Want a bet? Oh, God. Oh, God. That's not right. That can't be right. You know how I was saying before that she kind of looks like Giselle Brett a little bit? But we pretty much established she was murdered, right? Well, then what if that was a waxwork too, though? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I even know what I'm talking about anymore. It would seem you are unaware of the Tusspells principles. I'm the principal of a high school. What principles? The family Tusspells has always prided itself on sculpting its models a la perfection. Every detail, including the visage, is fashioned with complete fidelity. Well, judging by your Holmes sculpture there, I'd say you're pretty good at it. Et voila, our principles. The Donatello look again. That's going to be the Donatello look from now on. There's a well-known legend about the Tusspells waxworks from the time of the French Revolution. A member of the Tusspells family is said to have made a waxwork of the queen who was executed. Oui, that is true. It was a century ago now. I believe the queen's face was carved in the minutes following her death, actually, at the guillotine site. Ugh. You are correct. The model is on display still today in the House of Horrors. We Tusspells will stop at nothing to obtain a faithful replica of our subjects. My. Dear me, it's somewhat disturbing tenacity of purpose. Oh, you're telling me. It's the only way to obtain a truly lifelike representation of the subject. Lifelike. On that second L in lifelike, I did a spit ASMR thing. And it's been my family's secret for generations. Now I'm sitting here telling it to you like it's nothing. Do you mean to say that beneath the mask? Yes, I'm a shapeshifter. What else should I be? Oui, the true visage of the killer is there. This is ludicrous. It's out of the question. How could you possibly know about that shit?
The professor spread terror throughout Great Britain.
I mean, surely there must be pictures of him out there somewhere. Well, I don't know. How easy was it to take pictures back then? I don't know. Maybe that'll come up here.
As a result, the Madame Tusspells special exhibit remains.
Because we do have a camera, like in evidence, I don't know. And with blood on it, no less.
Special exhibit remains extremely popular even today, yeah. That's how I make my money. The killer emerging from his own grave. It's a sight to behold. You should come.
Already did. I think, madame, it would be beneficial to hear your formal testimony on this matter. You will explain every detail of this macabre model. That is how you say that, right? And your personal involvement in its creation.
Okay, with pleasure. I love bragging about my abilities.
Well, okay. I still am on the fence about this character in general. It's weird.
The special exhibit in the House of Horrors is based on a rumor that shocked society in London. An impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse, in accordance with Tusspells' family principles. I enlisted the aid of the gravedigger and created a mold for the head in the cemetery just before the interment.
The gravedigger? Wow. Okay.
I hid myself until he gave me a signal. I was there for a very long time that night. I didn't get any sleep. As dawn approached, I was very tired and very nervous that I would be discovered. But I wasn't.
The gravedigger? The man sanctioned this?
Well, you know, like I was gonna... Imagine if you had found out sooner how you would have reacted then. I will do all that is necessary to achieve the true resemblance my family is celebrated for. Nobody else knew. Only the gravedigger.
Well, like, if it actually looks like him, who's gonna know the difference if nobody knows what he looks like to begin with? I don't know.
What harm did it do, huh?
So you truly saw it. The face of that monster!
Naturally, I was aware at the time that his identity was a secret. But Tusspells would not be Tusspells if we did not insist on absolute fidelity to our sculptures.
I don't believe this. I myself have seen the special exhibit at your museum, madam. And let me tell you something, it ain't that great. A truly blood-curdling scene in which the murderer is emerging from his own grave.
The scene it depicts was the subject of many rumors in London 10 years ago. I have here a newspaper from the time.
Oh my god, jeez, man. So, like, the real body, was it also buried in a mask like that?
The special exhibit was based on the picture in this article. It was the most detailed account of what happened, as reported by the eyewitness who saw it.
But, like, how well can an eyewitness really describe a face to relay the information of it? And did she say she went with the gravedigger, so she would have been there physically? Why would you need a picture from an article to base it on? I don't know. It's a 10-year-old article, a newspaper article, recounting the tale of an eyewitness to the alleged resurrection of the professor from his grave on the night of his execution. Man rises from the grave. It's too absurd for words. And let me tell you, he'd better hope he's not still alive.
The public enjoy absurdity, monsieur. That is why I have reproduced the scene as carefully as possible in my museum.
And it's a waxwork from that exhibit that was stolen some days before the incident at the Great Exhibition, wasn't it? Well, they've really definitely hammered it home how important this person is. Not that they hadn't already, but let me tell you something. Doing that and then bringing it back to what this was actually used for really makes me wonder, like, what the hell is going on here?
That is correct, a professor you see before you here.
Most puzzling. Like, why do you need that specific waxwork, though? Like, what do you stand to gain by using that one as opposed to just using any other one? Especially if nobody's gonna see it besides the people who are working with it, like Courtney Sithe or somebody. Huh. I don't know why I can't figure that. I feel like I should be able to figure that out, like, what the purpose of using that specific body would be. I guess if they knew that it was going to come up in the case, that somebody was trying to do it to get back at Van Zeeks, to try to trigger him or something. Because if that's what they're trying to do, so far it's working, and understandably on his part, I'll tell you that. Counsel for the defense proceed with the cross-examination. Sorry I keep stopping. I don't know. I really want to make sure I got my thoughts in order for this. This waxwork links Drebber to Dr. Sithe. And there has to be some reason for that, which hasn't yet come to light. It sure as hell hasn't, but I'll find it. I'll get to the bottom of what really happened. I will prove that Dr. Sithe and Drebber were in on this crime together. Whew! Oh boy. Oh, cross-examination, the Professor Waxwork, okay. Special exhibit in the House of Horrors is based on a rumor that shocked society in London. Okay, I told this already. But, and that rumor would be a 10-year-old tale now, but one that no Londoner would ever forget. Ah, right, I know just what you're talking about, I think. Of course, it couldn't be anything else. Yes, that story will never disappear. The tale of... Wait, 4, 5, and 6 gonna talk? No. The tale of the condemned killer rising from the dead. That's a central attraction in my House of Horrors. The rumor was whispered all over the city. And it was like this. It's like this and like that and like this, Anna. It's like that and like this and like that, Anna. It was in Lowgate Cemetery behind the prison, in the dead of night after the execution of the killer. The intern professor slid back the stone lab covering his tomb and emerged from his grave. When I was a kid, I had like an adventure on my computer and there was a tombstone in it, but I didn't know what a tombstone was, and I thought it was pronounced tombstone, because like comb and pretty much whatever. No, anyway. A young man who witnessed this felt a scream welling up inside him. But an instant later, he heard an ear-splitting gunshot from over his shoulder. Wait, what? The bullet struck the emerging corpse, and he fell motionless once more. Really? Wait a minute! The scream finally found its way from the mouth of the young witness, who turned and ran for his life. Surprised they didn't shoot him too. Like, usually you want to get rid of witnesses if you're doing something like that. The corpse climbed out of his own grave? Yeah, that's what we've been saying. And then somebody shot him? Who was it? I mean, it seems obvious somebody had to have staged that. Excuse me, I got hiccups, so I'm like, nobody knows even today. But remember, it was just a rumor. Perhaps nothing more than a ghost story. The good people of London, they love stories like this. That's why it was in every newspaper across the capital. Yeah, true crime stories, man. People fall asleep to that shit. But it was just a story. They actually do. I've never tried it, but I can understand why it would be interesting or appealing. Just relaxing. I mean, there's nothing relaxing about crime, I know, but the fact that people are out there trying to solve it, that's the good part. You know, that's the part that makes people feel better. Is that something? Anyway, I gotta stop here. Wait, Asmon's signature is on there, right? Wait a minute. Wait, well, what? Hang on. Why is Asmon's signature? That's not the same as the signature on the thing, is it? Because both of their signatures were on, where is it? This thing here, and it's not the same signature. Oh, wait, yes it is. I was remembering Drebber's signature and thinking, okay. No, that's definitely the same signature. But wait, so he... Wait, it's showing it here, actually, in the main... Oh. So was he the photographer, then? He was the one that took the picture? So we have a person coming out of a grave, a person witnessing it, a person photographing it, and a person shooting the corpse. There's like 4 people here. I mean, unless Asmon also shot the corpse, but I don't know. I want to read all this other stuff, and I don't want to waste too much time here. This is exactly the scene that can be seen today at your museum, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, I guess she would use the article to design the scene, not just his face. So I was wondering, why does she need an article for his face if she went all the way out with the gravedigger to see the face? But yeah, okay, anyway. Special exhibit was modeled on her illustration. For a while afterwards, the contents of that article were reproduced in every newspaper imaginable. It was bigger than the Titanic, which hasn't happened yet. Madam, might I say something? Please go ahead, mademoiselle. There's a Styx song called Mademoiselle, and I've never heard it. It's on their second greatest hits. When something is described as a rumor, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's entirely made up. I believe that often, rumors contain elements of the truth. Well, that's very true, actually. It's true? How true is it? Maybe that's a rumor. I see that people from the East can be just as astute as the people of Europe. What a surprise! Can we be sure, for instance, that the professor's execution was successful? Exactly. I mean, that's like the first thing I've been asking. It's not possible for the dead to come back to life. Yeah, that's not what I was asking. 10 years ago, I was there in Lowgate Cemetery.
After the criminal known as the Professor was killed by hanging, I took a wax impression of his visage from the corpse just before it was interred.
But how certain are you it was a corpse? Was he alive then?
So I can assure you, the man was dead.
Or just really good at holding still. Maybe he was like an actor who had to play dead people in movies and stuff, you know? They have to, like, not breathe and stuff. It would certainly appear that the condemned man suffered the intended fate. You know, unless he had a twin bro or something, a Michael Jordan twin bro.
An impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse in accordance with Tusspells family principles.
Hold it! Press on. That was a long press there just now. We're just now getting to statement 2 here. Is that true of every waxwork in your museum, then?
It is. Assuming the subject is dead, of course. Live subjects have to cooperate in a similar way. I have letters from imprisoned criminals all the time, you know?
What sort of letters?
People saying you did my face wrong. When my time comes, please make a waxwork of me. Kome-sa.
Kome-ka? I don't know what that means. I have to look that up.
No! My museum is famous, monsieur. To be made into a waxwork is an honor, and for some criminals a symbol of status, even.
Ugh. Because nothing says hardened criminal better than wax. Damn right.
And it is thanks to one killer in particular that my museum has gained such popularity in London.
Which killer could that be? Are you gonna tell us?
I refer to the star of the special exhibit, of course. The Professor, the toilet.
Whose form you claim to have captured by taking an impression from the actual corpse. This is ridiculous, man.
There are no exceptions to the principles of Tusspells.
Okay, that one went by a little faster.
I enlisted the aid of the gravedigger and created a mood for the head in the cemetery just before the internment.
Hold it! Okay. Do I say okay every single time I press? I think I do. Surely that's illegal, isn't it?
I mean, once they're dead, what you gonna do? If their families come after me or something, all pissed off.
It would seem the proprietress of this repository of novelties was blinded by monetary greed. You don't say.
It had nothing to do with money. The man is part of London's criminal history. That is why I had to sculpt him, to record this history.
I do kind of understand that. Like, the game preservation is a big thing these days, and I'm totally down with that.
It is the raison d'etre of the Tusspells Museum.
Reason for existing, reason for living. But if the man was convicted in a closed court and sent for immediate execution, then surely nobody but the members of the judiciary present know the killer's true identity. Is there a difference here between, like, knowing his identity and knowing what he looks like? Because I don't think those two are mutually exclusive. Is that even what I'm trying to say? I'm not sure.
I assure you, behind that mask is hidden the true face of the Professor.
Do you realize what you're saying? The Professor's identity is a national secret!
I understand.
I don't think he wants people to know who he is.
And now that the truth about the special exhibit has been revealed, it must perhaps close.
Of course it will, as will your entire museum if you don't tread very carefully, madame. Oh man, I wouldn't take it lightly if he makes a threat like that.
That could be another interesting chapter in the history of my family, I think. Don't you?
Oh, right, yeah, because, like, you know, there's nothing like a scandal to make people start watching you again. Maybe I should start smoking. So 10 years ago, on the night of the Professor's execution, you took a wax impression of his face from the corpse.
Oui, exactement.
Bossa Nova. Bossa Nova?
I hid myself until he gave me a signal.
Wait, is this... Did she say that before? I hid my... Oh, yeah, right, she did, yeah. I was there for a very long time that night, of course. Because I was saying she got me. Okay. So he gave you a signal. You were there longer than you expected to be?
I had some difficulties in capturing the subject's form correctly.
Why, because his face was mangled up? Did his cat scratch him? Was it Matt on guard?
As I removed the mask, the mouth of the cadaver fell open, and I had some problems with the chin.
Oh.
I don't know, why is that so funny? The man had been dead for a short while already, you see.
Well, maybe he was still hungry.
His muscles were relaxing, and consequently, his chin would not align itself correctly.
His fucking chin! You know? We're talking about a guy's chin right now. I love body parts and exaggerating them like toe prints.
Oh dear, what a horrible thought. Under normal circumstances, I would have an assistant with me. to put their hand under his mouth and hold it shut. However, that night I was alone, and as a consequence, I missed my preferred window of time.
What do you mean?
When I take the impression of the visage of a cadaver...
But he's still alive, you can't be doing that. I don't know, girl, you seem to be pretty good at making visages of living people too, as evidenced by what I'm looking at right now.
I always wait until 3 hours after death.
Why 3 hours? Is that amount of time significant? It takes that much time for, like, their nerves to shut down and all that. Rigor mortis, yeah, that kind of thing. A wriggly mortis. Save me, Susanoo.
It's the name given to a phenomenon that occurs in recently deceased bodies. As a rule, 3 hours post-death, the muscles in the body begin to stiffen. By approximately 10 hours post-death, the entire body is completely rigid and inflexible. And then from that point on, the muscles slowly start to revert to their relaxed state. The effect is often used to estimate the time of death when a body is discovered.
You're not actually conscious while this is happening, right? Because, like, I already dread dying enough as it is. Well, that was an education, if a slightly scary one, yeah. Because, like, who's to say your brain wouldn't still be sort of... Anyway.
As the Mademoiselle says, rigor mortis commences 3 hours after death, and it starts in the jaw.
I see. So that's why you wait.
Before that time, the mouth falls open, and it is very difficult to do my work.
Ugh. It's getting hard for me to do my work, with all this talk of corpses.
I wonder about that information the courts just heard.
It's significant, wait and see. I mean, it's significant because... How do you put the mask on him with his mouth hanging open? You know, it's like me doing the pog face or something. I'm gonna push it. The information about rigor mortis that you just shared with us, would you mind including it in your formal testimony? I believe it could be significant, you see. You see?
Of course, I do not mind at all, Blaze the best.
Can't help feeling that after this latest topic, I want to live forever. The atmosphere in the courtroom has become extremely grave. This is no time for jokes, Miss Susanoo. No, it's always time for a good joke, man. It was actually pretty bad, though. Madam, kindly amend your testimony as discussed. And don't be disgusting.
Bien sûr.
Bien sûr. Hey, I got all my life back. Did I get a game over at some point, or did it heal me? It must have healed me in between. It took me a very long time because it was before the onset of rigor mortis. As dawn approached, I was very worried that I could be discovered. I guess just keep going in order here. It should be a very long time because it was before the onset of rigor mortis. Okay. Rigor mortis being the phenomenon you described, whereby the corpses become stiff after death. I think you said that it starts at the jaw about 3 hours post-death, is that right?
Oui, c'est ça.
So if his mouth was hanging open, maybe he was still alive, man. He was trying to breathe.
Of course, the exact duration depends a little on the season.
Oh. I didn't realize a waxwork artisan would be so well-versed in the subject. Well, you never know what kind of shit you have to learn. You go to college to become like a car repairman, and you end up taking psychology. Because you have to deal with the customers who got a flat tire, and they're all angsty. And you gotta calm them down,
No, that's it's only elementary knowledge in the field of legal medicine. Subtly accent here.
Well, I had no idea about it. Maybe I won't admit to my ignorance about forensic science.
I could ask my father to give you a very simple primer if you like.
I think corpses should be your domain. I'm not good with them.
Oh dear. I'll do my very best.
Oh my god, don't saddle her with that. As dawn approached, I was very worried. Okay, so that went by fast. I was very worried I could be discovered. And what would have happened if you had been? I mean, you already got a scene with like 4 people out there. You say the dawn was approaching. Was Buffy with her? What was the time of day then? Approximately 4:30 a.m.
I could not say. But when I left the cemetery with my utensils in wax, the morning light was becoming visible. If it was Breath of the Wild, it would have been like 3:30 a.m.
The execution took place on 17th of June, which had the earliest sunrise of that year. Jeez. Indeed it did. First light would have been around 4:40 in the morning. Holy mackerel. That really is early.
It's an Erlenmeyer flask. The fact is, I had very little time, so I finished my work in a half hour. It was necessary to complete the impression and bury the body before daybreak, of course. If somebody had discovered me there, it would have been a catastrophe, so I had to hurry. Is it me, or does Mr. Holmes seem to be taking shape more quickly now, too? You certainly appear to go to extraordinary lengths for your work, madame. I wonder, is what she said particularly significant? I'm gonna say yeah. Madam, those details, because that's interesting to me, like time stuff, I love that. I don't do very well with it, as evidenced by the past, but the past. Those details about how long it took you to complete the sculpture in the early sunrise, could you include them in your testimony? I believe they may be significant. Getting a lot of significant stuff coming in here, if you would like me to. You're quite right, Mr. Naruhodo, it is intriguing. Sunrise at 4 in the morning would be absolutely unimaginable at home, wouldn't it? It's not quite what I meant by significant. Also, try Alaska. See what you think of that. Kindly amend your formal testimony. Oh, man, what are we gonna do here? Why do we have two revised statements now? So it must be one of them that we present something on. Hurried to finish my work in the half hour before sunrise. Then I left as soon as the corpse was interred. I mean, I guess at this point we've already pressed everything else. This has been like 15 minutes of pressing here. Good lord. Did you have reason to believe you might be discovered once the sun came up or something? I had paid the gravedigger money to keep my little secret, of course. Huh. But with the morning light, I knew that pretty soon those cars were going to show up on the road. And I knew that the warden from the prison... Oh, okay. Right, the warden. Well, that's... Well, imagine having a job like that. Couldn't you have just paid off the warden too, then? Huh. I'd already paid the gravedigger. As I said, I needed money to get Burger King on the way home. You cannot buy the silence of everyone, or the secret is no longer a secret, huh? She has a point there. The sunrise was at 4:40 a.m. that day, which means that it would have been around 4 when you began your sculpting work. Yeah, because she said it took a half hour, so... Ah, I see. Oh wait, he gave you the signal to come out of hiding, but what about all that stuff about his mouth being open? That's all I have to go on. What's your feeling, Mr. Naruhodo? For some reason, Dr. Sithe went along with Drebber's plan. Now, if that's really true, then the professor is the only other thing we know of that links the pair of them. Yeah, this didn't really establish much in that department, did it? I feel sure that waxwork must be a clue to this mystery somehow. In that case, we must use this cross-examination to uncover exactly what it means. Otherwise, the jurors are sure to regret their leanings and the trial will be over. No. I agree, but interestingly, uncovering what the professor has to do with all this means more to Lord Van Zeeks than anyone. Yeah, maybe just let him do it. He can solve this case for us. He's got the motivation. We're just a bunch of bystanders at this point. It's the impression that I'm getting anyway. Yes, as do I. It's the impression that I get. After all, he has a profound connection to the professor as well. They could not possibly hammer that point home enough. It's a lot of hammering, I tell you. Special exhibit... Okay, so we're back to this again. Impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse. Aided the gravedigger, create a mold for the head. It's gotta be one of the two revised statements. It took me a very long time, because it was before the onset of rigor mortis. And, do we have a timestamp on the autopsy report? Just want to look and see. Well, let's see what we do have here. Yeah, autopsy for the... No, that's for Mr. Asman there. Alright, you can, like, press up and down. Yeah, killer's autopsy report. Pseudonym, the professor, death by hanging, confirmed at midnight. Death confirmed at midnight? Okay. And they were saying it takes 3 hours for a rigor mortis to set in. So wouldn't it have set in by 3? And she didn't start till 4, so... I don't know. That's a possibility. I don't know if I want to go straight to that, but... And again, what else do we really have here? Photograph of Drebber, yeah, none of this. Huh. It might be worth a shot. Drebber's contract. I'm gonna... Oh, man. I'm gonna try this. I'm not really sure. Wait, what was the 5th statement again? Here, hang on. What did the 5th one say? Ready to finish my work in a half hour. Oh, gosh.
Well, that doesn't say anything about, like, what time it was, though. The fact that this is midnight kind of bothers me a little bit. That's the closest thing I can find right now. It might... I'll try it. Like, we got all our HP back. Madame! Madame! I have here an autopsy report that's filed 10 years ago now. It's amazing the ink hasn't rubbed off by now. It confirms the death of the professor following his execution at the gallows. Oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life from the long arm of the law. Testimony contradicts it. Completely contradict one another. Oh, yeah. Kui? Are you going to explain yourself, my Nipponese friend? According to her testimony, Madame Tusspells was creating her wax impression just before dawn. And at that time, rigor mortis had not yet set in, right? Am I correct so far, Madame?
You are, yes.
As I said, oh, we are setting her up, man, let me tell you. 2 to 3 hours after death, yeah.
But the man's chin was limp, so he cannot have been dead for a long time.
Yeah. But on the other hand, if you look at Dr. Sithe's report, it quite clearly states the following. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th of June. No! Yes. If the professor indeed died at midnight that day, then by the time you were sculpting his face, rigor mortis would already have set in. I love how I'm just talking about rigor mortis like it's a totally normal thing to me now.
Oh yes, you were right. The chin, it would have been completely stiff.
Yet you say it wasn't. In other words, this report is wrong. Or you're wrong.
Objection!
One or the other. No coroner makes mistakes when recording the time of death. The very idea is absurd. Unless... In that case, there's only one possible conclusion. The execution didn't actually take place at the stated time. Oh, yeah. He's not happy about this. Oh, I like her shoes. Order! Counsel, this is beyond folly. Not only do you indict the author of the report, Dr. Sithe, but you also implicate members of staff at Barclay Prison where the execution took place. You do realize this. Ah!
Objection!
Oh, man. My learned friend appears to have overlooked one very crucial fact. What fact? The professor died that night, without question.
He did. Of course he did. He has to have. I moved the man's limp jaw with my own hands.
Oh. He interrupted her. I need to see what she was trying to say there. There was no... Okay, objection. Yep. Yes, the professor died that night. But what if he didn't die at the gallows? Didn't die at... Are you insane? What exactly are you suggesting did happen in that case? It's almost impossible to believe, but it would explain the link between Dr. Sithe and the professor and that one other person of interest. I have evidence that will explain exactly what I'm suggesting happened that night. Counsel, present the evidence at once. The evidence that allegedly explains what really happened on the night of the professor's execution. Oh, man. Where are we at here? Would it be this? Because it says, this is the thing that says he was shot, right? Is that what really killed him? Maybe he's not alive now. Mad Sheep Rampage, good lord. Yeah, that explains it. The Mad Sheep Rampage. That's why he's dead. I'm totally presenting.
Take that!
I'm just doing that as a joke. I'm sure it's wrong. You know, it could be. It could not. What happened that night is written very plainly in this newspaper article. Executed criminal returns in the dead of night at local cemetery. You're suggesting it was a corpse coming back from the dead now? Well, if this article is to be... I kind of had a feeling that was it anyway, though. I mean, it said it right there. The professor assumed dead following his execution. He emerged from his grave and was killed again.
Objection!
And the dead and buried slave rise again. Or is he, does he say slain there? I'm thinking of the scene from Beetlejuice, never mind. So, don't be a fool. That's simply a rumor published by the Gutter Press. The Gutter Press, wow. Can you be certain of that? Are you serious? Point is, as the article says, there was a witness to what happened. Yeah, that's true.
My sweet, the young man who stole into the cemetery by chance that night.
Objection!
Chance?
Of course there was a witness, the story didn't write itself. But obviously the man made it all up. And in any case, this was 10 years ago now. There would surely be no hope of finding him.
No, you guys do realize... I forget what it is, who knows what, you know, and it's like, oh... We all know this witness well. We damn straight do. Are you suggesting, counsel? There should be an Are You Suggesting counter. Because every time it comes up, I want to say, Are you suggesting we go home from Willow? That you know who claims to have seen these utterly incredible events. Wow, I can't believe that they don't know. I was like, it felt like we went so hard on that, but that we were investigating, and I guess these guys weren't there. It just doesn't seem fair that we wouldn't have, you know, given them this information going into the trial, so you wouldn't have to take them by surprise like this, but... Who's the alleged witness of the staggering scene from the cemetery 10 years ago? That would be this motherfucker right here. The man in question is Mr. Enoch Drebber. Drebber. The previous witness? How many witnesses we got on this ship anyway? The special exhibit in the House of Horrors at Madame Tusspells' Museum of Waxwork recreates that decade-old scene in great detail. Oh right, but his hair is a different color, so they probably didn't realize. Yeah. The condemned criminal emerging from the grave and beside the tomb. A young man with a lantern stumbling upon the terrifying sight. And that young man is a 10-year younger Mr. Enoch Drebber. With his mouth hanging open, weirdly enough, but then again, he was shocked, so I'll explain it. Jeez. Order! Oh my god, so much order! Surely not, counsel. Drebber was there, in Lowgate Cemetery. Why is he so surprised by that, though? I don't know. What is all this talk about Mr. Drebber? Is the name significant? Of course. Madame Tusspells doesn't know, does she? A lot of people don't know a lot of things, apparently. Yes, it's extremely significant, madam. To your situation as well, in fact. Like, she made the sculpture of him, so how would she not know? Unless she thought he was someone else. What situation? The theft of the Professor Waxwork from your museum some days ago was perpetrated by the very same man. Huh. But that would mean... Yeah. Madame Tusspells. It would appear you know the name, Enoch Drebber. Yes, I know it. He's gonna turn out to be like her husband or something. But from long ago, in the past. What? Oh my. Oh gosh. Is it possible that he was the gravedigger? Like, I don't know. I mean, explain yourself. Tell us everything you know. It's like a wild game. I can't, like, unsee the fact that the front of her hat is, like, pointed. So it almost looks like a graduation cap. So, I don't know. It's a weird little thing. You notice stuff like that. Like the judge smiling underneath his mustache. Just those 2 pixels above the mustache. The story of the young man and the terrible sight he witnessed in the cemetery 10 years ago was published in every single newspaper in London and throughout Great Britain. However, in all of the articles, the witness was simply described as a certain young man. No details were published about his identity. His name was never revealed. There's a lot of names never revealed here, huh? So his name was never revealed and the other guy's face was never revealed. Oh, that is apart from in one newspaper. Oh. Only one newspaper. The Daily Circus. It is the paper from which comes the article I've already shown on the court. Shown the court? You're saying that his full name was only publicized in that article? Is there something on my leg? You're saying that his full name was only publicized in that article? Goodness me, yes, here it is. The university student who experienced this shocking event is Mr. Enoch Drebber, a disciple of science at the University of London and a resident of its student dorms. Unbelievable. Oh, boy. When I read the article, I went to meet with the man. His discovery of the condemned criminal coming back to life in the cemetery in the dead of night would make a perfect exhibit for my House of Horrors, whether it was the truth or not. Whether it was the truth or not.
I see. So you went to meet Mr. Drebber in order to sculpt the waxwork of the man, did you?
Exactament. He was studying science at the University of London in those days. He was just a poor student. I paid him £5 to model for the waxwork.
Hang on a second, though. Who was it that was, like, out of the country 10 years ago? They mentioned that earlier. Oh, no, that was Hairbrain. He was in Germany, right? I think that's what it was. Okay. £5. And since that time, it has been in my museum to recreate the scene of terror from the cemetery.
That's the cemetery. I'm very scared now.
Everybody's all meditating here. Oh. Gosh, these awkward silences. Who's gonna speak first here? Nobody? Well, I'm sure YouTube decided to put an ad there. So, 10 years ago, a young man appealed to the public about an extraordinary event he witnessed. A criminal who'd been put to death, re-emerging from his grave in the middle of the night. But the public treated his claim as nothing more than an amusing anecdote that was soon forgotten. 10 years later, the same man steals a waxwork model of the executed criminal, ostensibly to use as a body double for the victim in the case we're discussing here today. Even though the waxwork's build is a poor match for the victim, and his face is obscured by a mask. So the question is, why would the man do such a thing? I mean, you spent 10 years of nobody believing your story, especially a story like that. I mean, you would probably want to... Why would you wait 10 years, though? I don't know. Probably because it has something to do with this. I don't know. Which brings us to 3 days ago, when the birdcage crashed into the Crystal Tower. If the birdcage had in fact contained not the body of Mr. Asmund, but that same waxwork, the coroner from Scotland Yard who investigated, Dr. Sithe, would have noticed immediately. Ah, that's true. And yet she submitted this autopsy report for the victim, which the court has seen earlier. Why? Because the waxwork was that of the professor. Is that what you're saying? Oh, just trying to, like, cover it up? Like she didn't want anybody to find out something? Dr. Sithe put her name to a document confirming the death of a condemned criminal who was still alive. A criminal whose apparent resurrection was witnessed by Mr. Drebber. But that misconduct was a deadly secret the coroner would... Oh, yeah. Well, of course. Which is precisely why Mr. Drebber used that particular waxwork as the body double. Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, every now and then there's characters that come up that turn out to be super important, but for whatever reason, I gloss over them because I assume that they're just, like, side characters. Like the balloon guy, for example. You know, and then it turns out they're super important. It makes me wish that I paid more attention to them specifically early on, but it's like, how do you really know who's going to be important and who's not? Sometimes you don't know till later. And that's how I end up missing so many things, I think of it. This court must summon Dr. Sithe to the stand. The defense is determined to find out exactly how the coroner and Mr. Drebber are connected. I don't find that any truth that we could glean from this would be particularly painful for us, which makes me worry, because Holmes was saying, you know, there's going to be something that we're not going to like. But according to the missive I received this morning through the prosecutor's office, Dr. Sithe is unable to participate in these proceedings. Is that not the case? Right, because Strongheart said no. Huh. We've stumbled onto something here.
She told us so herself, didn't she?
Yeah.
Lord Van Zieks won't be summoning me as a witness. Lord Strongheart has forbidden it.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's okay. We don't have to get it out of you. We can just figure it out through some good old-fashioned deduction and whatever here. Something happened on the night of that killer's execution 10 years ago, and surely nobody would want to get to the bottom of that more than Lord Van Zieks. Yeah. The prosecution calls for the instructions in that missive to be scrapped. Oh. Huh. What does he mean by that? But Lord Van Zieks, the missive was issued from the Lord Chief Justice's office.
Objection!
Oh, shoot, he's going for it. The assigned prosecutor has the final say on policy in any particular trial. In other words, me.
Yes.
Ha! Let Enoch Drebber and Dr. Sithe both take the stand together.
Wow.
Oh, he is going for the power play here. Man, just when you think this guy can't get any cooler. Like, okay, I'm liking him a lot more in this game. I know I said before, you know, what I did, but he's really stepping up in this one, I gotta tell you. Bailiff, send a subpoena with immediate effect addressed to Dr. Sithe of the Forensic Investigation Team. The woman is compelled to attend on Her Majesty's orders. Wow. Alright then. Enoch Drebber and Dr. Sithe, together at last. If they weren't colluding with one another, this crime would never have been committed. I'm just a stone's throw away. I can feel it. The truth behind all of this is about to come out. Oh boy. There they are. Oh man. Well, you're still up there. I think we're done with you. Thank you for your attendance at such short notice, Dr. Sithe.
I'm disappointed in you, Lord Van Zieks. You were supposed to help me keep my secret. You were supposed to help keep the box shut. And now he's trying to open my box. You've completely betrayed the agreed policy of both Scotland Yard and the prosecutor's office.
Betrayal is not in my nature, as long as the truth isn't compromised. If it is, if there's even a hint of wrongdoing, then no matter whom it concerns or disgruntles, I will pursue the matter to the bitter end, as would any prosecutor worth his salt. Wow, dude. I want to be a prosecutor. Mr. Drebber, you, who were going to be up there anyway, took the victim's life by means of a machine that you constructed in your workshop.
Ugh, that's right.
And Dr. Sithe, as the investigating coroner, you were the first on the scene to examine the victim's body. It is the belief of the defense that you collaborated with each other and were both complicit in this crime. I almost think that, like, he... let me see. Yeah, I kind of think I know what's going on here. I don't know if necessarily they were collaborating, because I think maybe he got the body to bring out the truth, because when she saw the body, she would have to act on it before the truth got out or something, you know.
And where's your evidence?
At present, we have no definitive evidence, but we do have a very significant clue, and you're about to tell me what it is in your testimony.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking, of course, about the waxwork. We got it right here! This model of the killer, known as the Professor, who was sentenced to death 10 years ago.
You don't need to tell me. You've said it like 20 times now. I witnessed the man's execution with my own eyes, and officially pronounced him dead.
But were you told to do that?
Is that so?
Yeah, because, like, she wouldn't be allowed to say, or, like, she knows if Strongheart has a hold on her, she wouldn't be able to say anything here. Like, regardless. As long as he promised to protect her, she could say whatever she wanted here, or whatever he wanted her to say, I don't know. According to newspaper reports at the time, the night following the execution, the killer came back to life.
Don't waste my time.
And the sole witness to that mysterious event is standing right next to you. Yep. He hasn't said anything since he's been up there. If what you saw in the graveyard that night 10 years ago wasn't some chilling fiction, but reality, it would make you privy to a very great secret of Dr. Sithe. A secret so profound, it could compel the coroner to agree to collaborate in your evil scheme, in fact. Oh, I see. Like blackmailing her? It could be that, too. Well, like, that's kind of one and the same, what I was saying earlier. Tell everyone the truth of what you saw that night in Lowgate Cemetery. Man. Uh-oh. So he was the student who saw it. You can see the resemblance, actually, can't you? With the man in Madame Tusspells, I mean. Surely he's not going to claim that's really what he saw. Especially not after all these years. He was a research student at the University of London, wasn't he? And a bit too clever for his own good, if you ask me. Oh, here we go. Cacaw. Cacaw time, baby. Are we getting witness from this guy? What an interesting twist. Or wait, what an interesting twist. Yeah.
when at the time not one person would take me seriously. Yet now, here we are, 10 years later, and suddenly my story matters, and in a court of law, too. Good lord, man.
Well, watch your motion there. You don't want to slap her in the face by accident.
Very well then, if everyone so wishes. Let's be frank. I'll tell the truth of what happened that night, for what it's worth. FWIW.
Huh. Okay, I'm trying to imagine what she must be thinking right now. Does she not want him to tell it? Probably not. But, like, she already agreed to collaborate with him, so is he, like, pulling out on his part of the agreement to stay silent about what he knows?
Yes, of course, as you wish.
Well, here it is, witness testimony. You know, man, God, I hate to stop there, but man, I got to. Alright, well, next time on Great Ace Attorney 2, we're going to get some witness testimony from this dude, and I don't know what's going to happen. But it sounds like it's going to be pretty intense. So, yep. See you guys later.